tried so hard, I couldn't feel the flow. With every battle, my body took a toll. Now every knockout shows me a sign of who I'm meant to be. Infamous brawler, give me some time, but I'll show you what I'm made of, you'll see. Push me to the edge, I'll fight back even more. Triumph to the right whose dreams of gold. I embrace a challenge, so bring it, calls my name. The road I take will make me a champion. I'll be the one who lights the flame.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Game Development Awareness Session Level 0, number 5, the Game Jam. We are incredibly excited to have all of you here with us tonight. This session is proudly organized by LEVELSTAIR, Sri Lanka's leading game development community in collaboration with the Leo Club of University of Colombo Faculty of Science. Whether you are taking your very first steps into game development or you've already dabbled in some prototyping, you are in the right place. Level 05 is more than just a jam. It is the start of something bigger. Today, we are thrilled to have with us Mr. Tarindu Munasinghe, the founder of LevelStair, a visionary leader who has played a huge role in building and empowering the local game development scene. So, without further ado, let's hand over things to Tarindu to kick off the session and take us deeper into the world of game jams and game development. Over to you, Tarindu.
Thank you, Vatish, for the amazing introduction. So, hi everyone, and I'm Tarindu Singha. I'm from UCSC, University of Colombo School of Computing. And first of all, this is not like a very strict or formal session. Yeah, so feel free to ask any questions, raise your hands, speak up, and we should connect with each other. That's the whole fun about gaming communities. So, first of all, in this session, it's not a short one for sure. So, first we'll discuss about the basics of game development, the trends, the industry, and how to kickstart your first game. And then I'll talk about what's our community is about, and the game jam, what is a game jam, and what's happening tomorrow. And finally, the buzzword of the entire IT industry, AI, and how artificial intelligence affect game development. So don't scare away right now about AI will pick your job out, but stay tuned. Also, should note that this session will not cover statistics regarding game publishing. So I'm not going to explain that which day of the week is best to publish a game on Steam or Play Store or and that kind of stuff. And I also will not cover any in detail, that is diving into the depths of game development roles, game designing roles, and what kind of jobs out there for you in the market. I will explain a few, but not every single one in all to the last detail. So now that is off our shoulders, what is game development. So before getting into this topic, we should know that game development is part of the overall the entertainment industry, and the other two competitors, which we can ignore, for example, are music and movies. So the how we classify these, the which one is at the top is like how much budget we have and how much revenue they generate. So if we say like music, for example, every single music has a complete procedure how it's published and how the revenue is made. And movies, on the other hand, have a larger budget for the designers and motion actors, etc. And they too generate a huge revenue. But both of them combined cannot be placed near how much yearly revenue the entire gaming industry makes, because there's vast array of methods that create multiple revenue streams. තව දෙයක් කියන්නම්, කීප දෙනෙක් ඉල්ලුවා සිංහලෙන් session එක කරන්න. So what we are going to do is, if you didn't understand anything I said, මං කිව්ව දෙයක් තේරුම් නැත්නම් සිංහලෙන් chat එකේ message එකක් දාන්න, ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් chat එකේ message එකක් දාන්න, මම සිංහලෙන් උත්තර දෙන්නම්, ඒක explain කරන්න. If you don't understand the question understand something in English, just post the question and I will respond in that language. And in the entertainment industry, I like to get each and every one of you involved in this session. So I'm going to ask a simple and easy question in the next style. Do we have a person who knows all three, or at least two? Yes, exactly. So you can even like speak up if you know the answers. Don't be shy. It's a pretty simple
I
question.
guess the only one would be the middle one.
Sorry?
That would be Wukong.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Black Myth Wukong is in the middle. It's the Chinese game. At least it's made in China game. And I will give a hint. The left one is Academic Award winner movie this year. Any answers? It's a story about a cat with no voice actresses or any human voice involved. Okay, it's made in India. I will say the answer, and that's the name is Flow, Flow, and it's a story about increasing water levels in a rainforest, and the animals have to find a safe place. Uh, the budget of the Flow movie is around like $4 million, but the revenue they generated up to now is around 9 times that budget, around 34 million dollars. Wukong, on the other hand, reigns supreme with billions of dollars in revenue. And I think GTA 5 is close to a billion or something, and around, at least over 500 millions. And on the other hand, it's the music industry I try to represent. Oh, amazing. I didn't know that part. So, creators of Black Myth Wukong started off as a mobile game company. So yes, and also it's an indie game. It's not direct, as I know, it's not directly published by, supported by a huge publisher. And finally, in the music industry, which is Kochimachi Suiso. So, for example, and they don't have much of precise like revenue stream that they guarantee the precise value they earn, but it's not, that's very lower than what Black Myth Wukong have. So moving on, the main topic is game development, right? So now we have to know a couple of few terms here. So first, starting off, we need to know the term indie. So indie stands for independent, where independent games or indie games are called, they are made by independent developers, indie devs. So these means that these developers create the game using their own efforts, using their own budget. Like they don't have a publisher or a ad company that supports them. Okay, they don't have a pre-given money or revenue amount to start or kickstart their project. They use their own assets and own time, their own money in creating this. So except Hollow Knight, which I haven't played it. So I know Minecraft, which is having the largest community for gamers in mobile and PC. And it started off as an indie game from a single developer using Java. And then with their massive success, they uh, grow into Mojang. Then it was later purchased by Microsoft. And Limbo is also no, I is it though? I think it started off with Cave Game. So so maybe it's after a production, the new version, if they change the name for the Cave Game. So I am not knowledgeable about the very first name though. And Limbo is on the other hand simple, black and white, a 2D game, which provide no context, no story whatsoever when you play the game, but it's have a very pretty deep meaning. If you watched, there's a channel called Horror Game Stories that they will explain that how the story of the Limbo is made. It's something related to afterlife. So those are made by small developers that doesn't have a solid backed up by publishers. And moving on to why we are here. So why are we learning game development? Is it's the mainly it's about the curiosity we have because we understand that we know that softwares have specific things to do to be at that level. So now we are wondering to create a game like, for example, let's say Need for Speed. How did they make a game that when you press an arrow key, the car turns and drifts just like in the reality? So how did they do that? So then it will moving you on to why can't I make a game? I want to make this kind of a game. I like to make an open world game like Far Cry, racing game like NFS or Crew. I'm not gonna explain about GTA. So and fantasy games like Breath of the Wild. So when you keep thinking this, like how to create a best-selling game, we need to stop for a moment and think what's this word development is about. So the entire term of game development is an umbrella term that spanning with multiple job roles. It's not just about coding. It's not about creating another software. It's about the entire procedure involves. So first point is that you can't follow the walk in the park. So you may see a YouTube tutorial that uh, the influencer will be coding a long looking project like within an hour with multiple game mechanics. It's fun to play, but he just live showed you how to make it happen in 1 hour. But for you, you might rewatch the entire video 3 times, which eventually lead to 3 hours, and wondering, I can't get to this level. But that's just like imposter syndrome. So for some people, the same job will look like it's an easy thing as well as a hard thing. So it's the answer is you have to find your own niche. Maybe you are not good enough for rapid building desktop games, but you are really efficient in creating mobile games. Okay. And putting that aside, what about indie? So you don't have a solid backing from a publisher which guarantees that we will provide you with funds. Now you have to think how to control your asset, your resources into creating the game. which leads you to the next question: how long? How long, how much time you wish to invest? You are willing to invest in this game to make it a success. Like, for example, if you're building a game to make money, which at the end goal it is generating revenue, how much time you willing to spend? 3 hours, 1 week, 1 year? Or are you willing to spend time into learning the mechanics or how to use the game engine first instead of jumping into prototyping and creating a revenue generating game? The next question is, again, the point is, you're at the moment, if you're an indie, you don't have a publisher's back. So what publishers do, which I will again explain in future, is that they will handle anything except the development part. Okay, so that will take a huge risk and pain off your shoulders, because now you only have to worry about creating an enjoyable game. That's the only thing publisher wants from you. Rest of the thing they will handle it. And when you are an independent developer, you are doing with your own or you are doing with your small team. Now you have a bit of a gamble here. So what happens here is whether the time you invested is enough. Okay, that's the first question. And when you have a working model, you sometimes very rarely you can't guarantee how much you will earn. Like, I can't expect this. Let's say I made a realistic looking game. If it is not even if I am the only one that enjoys the game even after releasing it, then means there are some issues, and it's a complete fail when I publish it. So I don't get revenue now. So that's the part of indie and the revenue generation part in the development phase. But this is not just for games. All right. So even if it's a software you develop, if nobody downloads it, it's still the same end. Okay. So software development, game development is very similar, and the output is also very similar. It's the way how you make it happen. And let's move on to the stages of development. Like these, first to let you know that these steps I'm showing are not fixed stages. So, for example, I hope everyone has a small background in software engineering. If you didn't understand something, please ask the question. And there is these stages are not fixed. Like you can keep doing it again and again, arrange the stages if you want. So this is just a follow-up that these phases naturally exist in the game development stages. Exactly. System development life cycle. Okay, so we first have the pre-production phase. So the pre-production phase is the phase where you do the ideation, where you generate ideas, you discuss them, you see if player would like this idea, or sometimes you even make small prototypes to see that these things work. Nah, this is not enjoyable. So you keep iterating and iterating, finding the best idea you like. You add features, you remove features, and finally, at the end of this phase, you come back and say, all right, this is the game you're making. So you usually note things down like using a OneNote or Notion or a book, or like having a document shared with your team, and you point them down, you comment on them, you discuss and finalize. Okay, this is the game we are making, and these are the features we are going to implement. These are the mechanics. These are the assets we are gonna need to use. Then we will move on to the production phase. So the production phase, on the other hand, is actually creating software. That's the game. So when creating the game, here now you already have the list that you are doing, what you need to do. So you make the assets, get the audio files or any music you need to find, you buy any resources that you need, you communicate with other developers, the designers, everybody come together to create the final game. Okay? when you created the game, when you finalized, okay, this is the game, it's done, good, it's over. And it's not over. Because now we have to test whether this product, the game, is worthy to launch. Will people download it, or we can't like how do you say, we can't mimic what a player would do because player takes some bizarre actions. Yeah, for every single game out there, there is some random player who will always find a bug, who will always find a hidden feature, and also there are some ones exploit it. So the quality assurance phase is there to make sure those exploitation doesn't happen and the general users have a better experience in the game. Like there are no lags, but and the experience is good. There's no UI alignments, bad alignments. Sorry. And after the quality assurance phase, you launch. But in this launch section, doesn't just necessarily mean that you're launching the final product. You might launch a beta test program asking for real players, a fixed number of real players to try it out and give you the feedback, which again put you back to the production phase because there are features that the players don't like or players found some faults with. So again, you come back to the quality assurance, checks them, all right, it's good. Now, now you think you finalize it, then you have to do the marketing part also. Now you have to put trailers and get the players, the wide audience of players, not the fixed number, but the entire world, to know that here's our game, play it. Let's assume that your game was a hit now. Okay, now it's like trending #1 on Play Store and Steam and Epic Games everywhere. It's the number one, and everybody start playing it. What you're gonna do is the post production phase. Is there are multiple things. First, you will definitely get bug reports saying I have lagging, I don't like this feature, or I just don't like the game. Even you get even hate comments about the games. That's natural. Since we are assuming hypothetical scenario where the game at right now we are talking is the outselling #1 game in the market at the moment. So and the next thing is we also need to maintain the community, the players, and keep them up to date. Like first, we don't want the existing players to leave. Second is we need new players to come in because that's how we generate revenue. Now remember, I haven't talked a single bit about what are the methods we are generating revenue. I get back to it in the next slide. So post production is about reporting back any issues, maintaining the community, and bug fixes, and releasing new versions, updates, or creating an entire new product. So that's the post production part. So now you can see that you don't need to go through these phases linearly. You might come back to a previous phase or jump back or do the same phase again and again to get into a final functional game, enjoyable game. Now let's assume what are the not assume. Now let's see what are the post production options we have with the famous games. So we have Clash of Clans, Limbo, and that level again, which is that's the exact title of the game in Play Store. And for everyone here who has the basic understanding of using a game engine, that right now or after this session, I mean, if you have the basic understanding of creating a small game, let's say, that level again game is very easy to do. It's super simple and it's basically what the title says. It's the same layout, same procedure, same quest, same question and the goal, the answer. But only thing that differs is how the player should get to the answer. Everything else is the same. It's very easy to make. And let's move from the first one. Clash of Clans post productions. So these are not specifically due to I got details about their supercell or something. No, but these are as of my experience. So by the time I stopped Clash of Clans, it's around Town Hall level 12. But if you have seen recent advertisement of COC, you will see that it's the Town Hall level 17, I think, right now. And what the point community management is, what Clash of Clans does, the base game of Clash of Clans is you have to maintain a village which has a town hall, a castle, resources such as gold and elixir, and you have an army, champion. So after that, then you have to fight with other villages to grab their resources and collect them or take revenge on other villages. But once you reach to the maximum town hall level and all your reserves, your assets in the game are maxed out, you're playing in the end game, which is the only thing you have to do is attack or defend or both. So that's why they implemented the what do you call it? The clans, clan battles, clan wars. So in clan wars, now you have to fight with 10 villages with 10 villages of your clan. I don't know the exact count right now, but at the time it was 10 each. And after that, now the process getting the same. Join a clan, fight with a clan. Then they implemented leaderboard. Now, if your clan regionally or internationally now fighting to be the number one. So now you have to keep logging in again and again, build your resources to the max level, be the best defendant and be the best offenders. So that's also not enough now. Every single thing is not enough for the player. So then they implement another map which you have to travel through a boat. Now you have to build that as well. And there's another set of mechanics belonging to that single thing. And when just before the player saturate, they will say that town hall level 13 is there, 14 is coming, 15 is coming. Now players have something to do. Now the top league players, once in the higher rank or higher castle levels, they can't quit because they have to keep the title for themselves. They don't want to leave the game. So that's the community management in Clash of Clans. They keep the community active by releasing updates. And how Clash of Clans generate money? It's a free game. There's no ads. You can basically do anything. But the only thing they say is, if you want more gems to build, to have get builders, if you want more currency, more resources, just pay $100, pay a $10, then here's your resources. And the player is willing to pay to keep just because they don't want to waste their time, they pay you up. That's the model of Clash of Clans. The next version is pretty common, but in the mobile market, I'm not sure. But usually, Sri Lankans, I haven't seen ones that pay a one time fee for a game. And especially Limbo, you have to pay like 1,200 rupees for the game. But recently, there was a 95% discount on Play Store. So the game was like 125, not 95%, around 90. So it was like 125%. 125 rupees. So the game is it's 60 chapters, 60 or 50 chapters for the game, and you can play it linearly because you don't know when the chapter ends and when the chapter starts. It's a single map, single very large map, and the story progression is very linear. There's a reason for it. I'm not going to discuss it here. But the thing is, you pay for it once, you buy the game, you play it, or once you completed the game, you either redo it again to have as a nostalgic factor, or you just uninstall it. But you already paid the developers to play the game. End of discussion. It's like buying a book from a bookshop. And the third one, that level again, is very simple. It's a single game It has 60, 70 levels, and that's it. That's the only game. But each level is way difficult than the first one because the concept of this game, that level again, is about thinking out of the box. For example, there is a level that the layout is the same, but to open the door, which is the question, to open the door, the only hint you get is what you do in a plane when a flight takes off. So, not that long, but it's the meaning of it. What you would do in a flying plane. So you can control the character, but the door is not opening. There is no button to click. So the actual button hidden on the airplane mode of the phone. So you have to scroll your notification bar, hit the airplane mode button, and then the door will open. So not many of us understand that you have to turn on the airplane mode when you're in a game, literally. So what they do is, if you don't understand the hint of this game, we will give you one chance. Please watch a 30-second ad, which will contribute us, the developers, and we will give you the understanding of the hint, or you can just skip the level. It's that simple. So people would like to get a reward when you see an ad. That's why if you scroll multiple games on Play Store, which seems fun, but they flashbang you with an ad when you just completed a level. So you don't like it. Like, for example, you want to rapidly progress in the game, but suddenly a 30-second ad pops up and showing this is a new game or buy this from this store, and it's annoying. So people directly uninstall the game saying you don't like. We feel that the developers don't feel the the players' feelings to because they're solely thinking about the revenue they generated because they don't give a break with yes. Either we need to turn off the data or they keep showing us in a random moment. So that's why people change to the ads with reward system. Developers change to ads with reward system. So if you take like SimCity Build It, Lumber INC, or that level again, like some relaxing or tycoon or arcade games, they will provide you that this takes real world time to progress the game, but you can watch an ad to reduce that time. So that way now the developers value the player's time. Now you feel that I am getting a reward for what I'm going to watch. So you watch it. The time you need to spend reduced and the developers get a reward. So that's the another way how different games approach the post production as well as revenue generation. And finally, we are getting into design versus development. So designers in game development or gaming industry, it doesn't necessarily mean you are doing a low effort job. Like, designers are one of the keys to make a better game because there's level designers, script writers, artists, a lot of them waiting in this category. So you have to make decisions. You know the gaming trends as a designer. You should know the trends, and you know concept. You should also be able to deliver the concept in your mind clearly. And the developers should know the technical side. So designers also should know the coding levels, as in not a specific language, but how codes are written, the structures. So they know whether the idea they have, the imagination they are having, can be implemented until waiting, or otherwise you should wait until the developer said you can't implement this. So communication is important for both ends. Developers should communicate clearly, designers should communicate clearly, and not just 3D modeling skills, but Depending on your niche, you might want to know how to create 2D assets as well. And yes, so the developers should definitely excel in coding skills such as the language of the game engine, technical specialties such as database management. Again, this is not a single person job, so there are multiple roles, technical roles under the developer title. So depending on the title, the content you need to understand to deliver to support the game in its development will change. Now we know now we are moving on to the learning part. There's a risk when you're learning bits and pieces of everything that will basically turn you into a jack of all trades and master of none. So now so understanding little bit of everything is not gonna work. So now you're thinking I should dig deeper in a single specific topic. Let's say you think of a game engine. Now we are diving deep into the game engine so much so that you followed the entire documentation of the game engine. And that's also difficult because you have to keep up to date with the game engine's new features. But if somebody asks you to do something else, you don't know how to do it because you only studied a single topic. So that's why we say T-shaped learning, or there's multiple methods that you master one and have a basic understanding, the fundamentals right on other respective fields. Bits about cybersecurity, bits about databases, something about the game engine, and the coding language. So again, I'm just mentioning a small set of topics, but there are a lot of content that is widely available where you can choose the niche, the thing you like in developing a game. And when designing games, there are a couple of concepts that mechanics are what how the game is played, not like a story, but how the game should continue, what actions you could take to continue the game, completing quest or getting power-ups, etc. And gameplay loop right here is about what keep the players coming back to the game and play it. For example, let's take GTA for example. In Grand Theft Auto, you have to finish the quests. Then you have a side quests, which doesn't necessarily affect the main storyline, but it's give you a small history or an understanding of the game world. So you keep coming to the game to get the entire story, consume the entire story, or you keep coming to the game because there's multiple levels and you have to finish it. And that's not the only types of game loops. There are multiple game loops. The goal is to get the player back to the game to play it. Use experience, very simple term, it's how the player should feel when playing the game, like how the player will interact, the intuitive, the enjoyability, and make it somewhat frustration free because every single soul game is some frustration inducing games. So but there are some games directly opposite, relaxation games like mating an island or survival games which is trying to be realistic, resources based. And the next one is world building. In world building we have that how to get the player to understand a completely new environment progressively without spamming the knowledge. That's why you have a specific quest end at a certain point instead of continuing without a save. So you let the player consume step by step the entire game's flow. For example, if you take the game Subnautica, which is an underwater game, so the way they let you consume the information, the world, the lore, history, is they give you things to scan from your scanner, and it will have a short text description saying how this is made, why this item was made in the context of the game. And the next one is Genshin Impact. The quest by quest and by event, they give you specific hints or foreshadowing the future of the game without letting you know. Highly secretive planning. I don't know how they managed to do that, but it's very, like, you can't leak the story of the game. You may leak the character descriptions or what's the upcoming characters, regions, quests, anything, but none of that information contains how the history of the world affect the future of the world. And also, when talking about the gameplay loop, uh, what the neat trick they use is including the history of the game in a playable event, a short term period outside the game that gives you a reward. So even if you're playing the game for the story, now you have to come back, play it, just to understand the story much better. And finally, game balance. Game balance is ensuring that the player is progressively getting to understand the game and its mechanic. And for example, if you're taking a multiplayer game or role playing game, that the stages of the player increase in a positive way, but balance according to the memory load. Like, instead of like spamming every single tutorial right off the bat, wait till the player get there and tell them this is what you got to do. So this also ensures the difficulty is enough for the player to have an entertainment as well as a thrill or adventure. So such as, you don't want a level 2 player to have a level 1000 item. That's basically that's the game balance. And since I will stop my yapping for a moment, it's not math free. You have to know a small amount of mathematics, but not like Pythagorean theorem like stuff. But you have to know something about maths when you're dealing with games. Platforms in the game development. So now you know what things about the games, how to create them. Now the part is we need to learn these models, like how to create our own. So here, now we need to do is understand the game engines or your own software, because we are not required to use a specific game engine to create a game we desire. So, for example, you can use an existing language, programming language, or you can create your own game engines, which is highly not recommended at this level. Okay, so this is a great example. This is the game in 1988, I think, which is named Roller Coaster Tycoon, a famous game because it's 99% made from assembly, the lowest level coding language you can get. And the 1% is from C, which is the next lowest level. And finally, our famous game Minecraft used Java before it got hit as the number one game at that time. But should I make a game in assembly if I don't have a game engine? No, because there are existing JavaScript libraries and online tools which help you create your web-based game, browser-rendered game, pretty easily. So this is now one of my connections, and uh, at the time he was an internet code gen, and he's made a more simple racing game from these technologies, and he's willing to keep improving it. And now let's talk about a couple of features of two most famous game engines in a digestible way. And that's the rough understanding or most abstract way to present that Unreal Engine is much better if you're targeting for a higher resolution or more realistic looking game, or if you're targeting high end graphics. And Unity is better for VR or mixed reality applications and 2D games. But that doesn't mean Unreal can be used. But I mean, Unreal itself has AR VR support, but but Unity is built for it with its features. And again, Unreal has Nanite with the newest version, which triangulating the pixels depending on the distance the player have, the camera have. But Unity doesn't have that feature, but it is also good at making general PC games. That you are not required to have a desire to create a higher graphical output. It's about optimizations. And Godot, I haven't tried, but it's like the blender of game development. If you know the 3D object creating tool software Blender, which is on par with 3D Max, Maya, Autodesk, Tinkercad, and it has more features. I mean Blender. And Godot is also open source. It's completely free. You don't need to pay anyone. And okay, we have a Godot Defender here. So, yeah, so it's beginner friendly. I haven't tried Godot yet, but it's a rapidly growing community. And yes, Game Maker Studio is also good for 2D games. I haven't tried it as well. And the next thing is CryEngine, which is for experts only. It has low amount of resources to learn, and it's seem to be complex. And finally, don't don't start creating your own gaming unless you have a specific need that you have a feature in your game that cannot be implemented from existing technologies such as Unity, Unreal, Godot, forget about CryEngine, Game Maker Studio, and then you wander into programming languages. Like, are there any libraries that you can help yourself to create with other the feature you want to implement? If still no, then it's time to learn the high-level programming language and create your own game engine. And we have examples. For the Godot work with C++ is yes, I think. Yeah. As I know, Godot has GD script, which is their own gaming development language, and it also supports C Sharp and C++, as I heard. And the next thing, the examples for creating the scenario, you have to create your own game engines. I'm gonna take two examples I found in a YouTube short from Fire Software, and I can't remember the exact games, but there is this game where you need to like every pixel has a weight. So it's a pixel-based game. I think the name is Falling Pixels. So if a pixel is collided at some anyway, it should fall directly downwards. But so at the moment, there were no solutions to make that happen in an easy way. So they have to create their own way. You see, they have to create their own methods to create them. And the other one is a simple 2D game. I think I can annotate it here. Yeah, it's a simple 2D game. So where you get a base, you get a building, and here's your character. So you can't see the sides of the what do you call the building. You can't see the side, but now your character wants to move here. Okay, so if you move in that direction, into the screen, it's called a 2.5D game. Okay, but this is a 2D game. Okay, you can only go linearly up and down, but to implement the side way, the go to the behind of the building, back side of the building, What this game engine does, or the creator does, the game is the building turns around in a 2D way that generating the sides of the walls of the building. So it's amazing. It's really fun to see that at that moment, like they created such a huge solution. But now those two are doable in games like engines like Unity and Unreal. Let me erase these. All right. So now we move to the next one. Buzzword again. Triple A games, and it's not just about graphics. Why GTA is a triple A game? Why Genshin is a triple A game? So GTA is very realistic. Okay, let's take Red Dead Redemption, the most realistic feature implemented game, and Genshin on the other hand, it's just a fantasy game. But both are considered triple A because top tier gameplay, huge communities, higher budget in creating, higher maintenance costs, performance requirements after optimizations is high, and huge development army. Not just game creators, designers, but other people that provide with resources. The next thing is franchising. So you don't need every single tick here to consider it a triple A, but there are forums that scrapes through multiple resources and announcement news to classify a game to be triple A or not. But usually triple A is having higher budget, higher revenue generation, higher quality gameplays or graphics combined, and also a huge supportive set of people. So CryEngine based the Crisis game is considered a double A game because even though it's in current standard, it's a higher end graphic game, it's considered a double A game. I'm not sure why, but I think it's about the size of the development team, and yeah, probably that. But it's still considered a double A game, not a triple A. Unity-based Genshin and Honkai Star Rail are considered triple A games. We will see in the future why. But Minecraft, on the other hand, is on the middle. It's indie because not a single creator made it. It's triple A because Minecraft is now owned by Microsoft, Xbox, which is a huge publisher right at the moment. So you can't just directly put it into triple A because it started off as indie and it's continued by a triple A studio. It's in the fence, it's in the middle. But Genshin and HSR doesn't have a realistic looking graphics. For example, they don't even have even such a performance requirement as well. But the development team is very big. It's a huge publisher in China, and they use huge budgets to creating and maintaining, especially marketing the games. And one thing is these games running for years. Like the game hasn't come to an end yet. It's like reading a book with that you can't see the back cover. Okay, take a break before the next set of slides. Have any questions? Drink some water. Let's take a 1 minute break. So, like, do you have any games that you are interested in playing? Any games you are currently playing? PC? Are you a PC gamer or mobile gamer? Anyone? Feel free to talk. Oh, and by the way, feel free to drop your LinkedIn accounts to make new connections. And also, I should mention that Sri Lankan sessions are really quiet. That's I've seen in everywhere. Like people don't raise voice or people don't use chat sometimes. But when you just move on to a single international event, even a 1 hour event, every single one is turning on their camera and speaking. It's all chaos there until the host makes them in order. So like we should like kind of it's better to switch that habit. It's really fun to be in an international conference of game devs, and it's super relaxing. It's not like these stiff formal sessions, but they are super relaxing. Even the executive committee boards or organizing committee is very openly discussing just before the meeting, even with the participant. That's a fun environment. So that's why game development communities or gaming communities pretty much very open and inviting new ideas. What's the process like for publishing a video game on Steam? Okay, nice question. I'm answering it in the future slides. So stay tuned for it. Needs an extension. Yeah, probably. I think I'm not sure how C++ and C Sharp works in Godot, but yeah. All right. Seems
I know what's the process about how much do you know about 2D fighter games and stuff like that?
2D fighter games.
Yeah,
I think for before me, we have a 2D developer with a game in Play Store. Uh, I think that person know I'm telling him. Can he answer that question? What to know about when creating 2D uh, shooter games?
fighting games are yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Fighting
Stuff
games
like
as in a multiplayer.
no, like Mortal Kombat and well,
Oh,
multiplayer, single player, either way.
either way. Okay, so fighter games. So like so first of all, is it like if, for example, if I want to say that MMO games like multiplayer games are not that much hard to implement the base part, but uh, but when you're creating something like a role playing game, if you're trying to introduce a role playing system into a shooting game, that's part gonna be pretty tough, and it's not just about like adding a couple of levels, but it's more about optimizing it enough so that it is playable in the level of mobile phones you're targeting. I don't think it give enough answer for your question, right? It's not an enough answer.
Well, I guess not. It's
Yeah.
like I'm more kind of like the question is more about like I just want to know more about how to implement a 2D fighter game because you see this repetitive cycle of how it normally happens. It's always like the top fighter game is always like one person's two person. It's Mortal Kombat, everything is there. And then there's a story mode for like a lot of more like watching a movie than playing the game. So
Ah,
I was
yes.
wondering if that was
You
interesting
mean like a Far
ways.
Cry where the where you have to hunt things looking using weapons, which is kind of like a shooter. But then
Mm,
again, there's a story. But then there's always like things like PUBGs, which don't have a story, but it's purely focused on shooting. But things like PUBG and Mortal Kombat are mainly famous not because just the gameplay, but they are backed by publishers. So publishers will do the marketing enough so that they have the player base large enough to start into the game. Even if any new game they put out, they have a solid player base that will just play it for fun, but then start liking it. It's like, for example, let's say you have enough money to buy an iPhone, and after you get an iPhone, now you want to get into an ecosystem. But when you buy an Apple product later on, you have that reliable mindset, the reliability with the Apple that you are getting a good product. So that way, publishers guarantee that what they support is good enough for players to play. And when that idea aligns with the player's experience of the game, okay, now this is a good game for play. So if we take about indie games, for example, in here, when you have developing on your own, marketing is also important to get the players. But the next thing is making sure that leave a lasting impression for the player so they would enjoy it and may recommend it to someone else. Uh, like, I'm not sure about this one. Militia, the Play Store game with the multiplayer and shooting. I don't think it's with the big publisher, but it's mostly famous around like sharing the link of the game or by the word of mouth. Uh, Anime style shooter games. Uh, we need to pay $100 fee and then yeah. I was about to say it in the future, so I'll explain some prices. Uh, since the characters have backstory, but the game itself is just multiplayer PvP. Yeah. So there is also a game. I will leave it in the chat. So he will get a reach. We have the developer here. So if you guys like small 2D shooter games, try this one. We have the developer with us right here, and it's an amazing game. And okay, I will continue with the uh, presentation. All right. So creators and publishers, literally the next topic, since you already started the discussion before me. Uh, so yeah. So another question: which of these is a publisher and which of these is the creator? Or anyone know the game that's made by these two? Okay, I don't. I'm not sure. There's more than one game, but there is a very famous one. You can say.
I got the answer for that.
Okay, wait, this is taking too much time. Sorry. Okay, so the Sony Interactive Entertainment is the publisher, while game creators, the Sucker Punch Studio. The combined game is the Ghost of Tsushima, which is made for console only, but they partnered up with the game studio Nikki to create the PC version. And talking about publishers, how far can they go to support a game? Because we know that they handle the what do you call the money part, but how much? So publishers usually have large reserves of profits from revenue they generated. So what they do is basically they are asking game studio like you focus on creating the game, let me focus on everything else, but you need to make sure that the publisher, has the ownership, which is when you create a game solo or as a group or team, the property is belong to your team or yourself. That's what we call intellectual property, IP. What the publisher does is focus on creating the game. I will pay you, but give me the full ownership of the game. And that's how famous games like Far Cry, Minecraft gets evolved. Now they have backed up by a publisher, developers only need to focus on creating a better user experience. And this is something done by the creators of Honkai Star Rail. They hired or they put an advertisement in the Las Vegas sphere. I hope you have seen it in YouTube shorts or news that it's a very large LED sphere. Um, I can't find an analogy to how big it is. It's bigger than a football stadium. Uh, and what it does, it has higher quality LED lights inside and outside. Inside, which is for cinemas like IMAX or even higher 8K or 4K movie resolution. I don't not sure, but they have a huge cost amount to for a single 5 minute or 2 minute advertisement. But MiHoYo, the publisher, paid them to keep playing the same ad at the same time just to get an attraction. So what they does is that with that effort, they get to give an impression of 300,000 or millions of impressions of weeks daily. That's so worth it. So here is the example. This is the Las Vegas Sphere. So they featured their latest game, latest update, section of the update in this way. All right, and these are the results. HSR at the moment of 2024 has at least 24 million players, and at least per day there's more than 1 million active players. And for the market of game development, these are the only things available. So market may looking for gamification of existing element. Then people like developers may want a 3D portfolio, and to be honest, there is literally a website, a portfolio, where to get to understand about the developer, you have to play a hard game. And it's pretty easy. You have to just drive around to understand the portfolio. It's fun to play, gamified portfolio. VTubing, I will explain in the future, and extended reality apps, which are AR, augmented reality, VR, virtual reality, MR, mixed reality, and finally handheld device market such as Nintendo or Steam Deck. I think Valve also created something like that, and Rogue, Republic of Gamers, and hyper casual games. So hyper casual games are like you have you have to expend so less effort, a very less amount of effort to succeed the game as a level, but you feel very satisfied for completing it, and the session is short. You can complete the level in a rapid pace. You can take time to do it, and it's also the same thing again, but really interesting. And career paths. Okay, again, not every single career path is listed here, but these are things to know. So we have audio engineers, visual artists, script writers, as in story writing or code writing, UI UX engineers, riggers, level designers, 3D designers, motion capture artists, and there's huge. This tree of developers and design is very huge, very technical, and the best way to understand is read the job description whether you have the talent to get into it. That much is a better explanation than deep diving into every single one of them. But basically, these are some few amounts. So for the riggers, which are related to 3D designers, see the next video. So the three figures at that was the skeleton on the right, the left part was a rendered model, and sorry, next part was the mesh, I think. I can't remember the exact name. And the one in the middle was the final rendered model. So it's not just about giving an animation, it's about moving specific part, the making the specific parts of a 3D model to move when the connecting modules or having a motion. So here's an example that I saw in a random meeting is that the developer in the Kung Fu Panda movie shows that when you move the like the belly of the panda, how every other muscles change. So that's a very complicated 3D model. So rigging is very important, very tough job, and highly valued talent. Okay, I like riggers are very valued by game developers and communities, and especially VR developer, VR VTubing people. So they create 3D models that people can, with motion capture suits can wear and change. For example, Marvel also they do motion capture. You may see the motion capture suits. So in games like or Stray, which is about a cat walking an adventurous journey. So in Stray also you have put motion tracking suit for a cat, and you creating the cat model in 3D and rigging it so that the muscles move according to how a real cat would move when you captured the motion and applied it to it. It's like putting the motion is the soul and the model is the body with skeletons and muscles. Again, 3D rigging, 3D modeling is pretty much not that hard compared to rigging, because you can see that in the previous video there's multiple rectangles, circles, and skeletons, every single thing, and it usually make sure. There's tons of resources I like to share, like when talking about 3D development and riggers that I previously shared in the community, and I'll if I find the link again, I'll share it again. It's so much fun to see how the game is progressively built. And I think you have probably read this while I'm talking. So you have testers, beta enhancement testers are ones that even after the beta test, some games like Zelda Stone Zero, they will ask people like, we had done production, but we will give you a chance to get a sneak peek, but if you still find something really bugging the game, just mention that as well. So they will give you a specific password and an account in a server that use this server in this way. So we may not know that we are being monitored or not, depending on the terms of service and privacy policy. But enhancement testing is not like beta testers. You are more like playing the final production grade game. Narrative designers, game designers, AI programmers, game, talking in the future, and 3D programmers, concept artists, VFX. So this thing is really valuable right now because what we have here, many of us don't know how to get into how to create our own first game. Okay, so do not start too big is the best advice anyone can get. Like, even if you want to create a supermassive game like Far Cry, just don't think of the end result. Okay. So when I was learning Unity Essentials Pathway, which I will describe in the future, and do not start too big, means the best example the Unity developer gave was okay. So the best advice they gave was think of your game as a block of chocolate. Okay. So once you have block of chocolate, break it in half and still keep breaking it half until you find the very base necessity of it. So let me take the example of creating a Need for Speed. Okay, Need for Speed game. So first thing, final game. Where you can move the car, you can drift, you can have multiple control systems, manual gear mechanism, beautiful UI, and multiplayer. That's the final end. So what's the base end of it? So what's the fundamental usage of a racing game? What's the fundamental feature? The most fundamental feature of the racing game is that player should be able to move the car. If a racing game you can't move the car, there's nothing to it. So first thing is you must make sure that either there's a world or map, racetrack, a single racetrack, and you have a cube or a cylinder in the game, and when you press the button, it should move. That's the most fundamental feature to implement before thinking about making it drift or speed up, accelerate, or decelerate. First, you need to know when you press an button, it moves. That's the base requirement. So starting on, then you keep adding on new features and features. Keep adding new features. And the next thing is don't rush. Don't rush. That also need to say that don't keep fixated on the appearance. Like you don't think you need a super realistic car model when you're doing the racing game before you even implement the relevant mechanics for the game. So targeting the appearance with higher quality is one big reason that you waste your time. So focus on implementing the base requirements, then keep on adding features like in a feature rich increment. And the next thing is value your idea. It's really important. Just because that kind of game is already exist doesn't mean you can't add something valuable to it. You can. Right? It's pretty easy. There's multiple of games. For example, best game is itself is Genshin Impact. It getting huge hate comments saying they steal from Breath of the Wild. Because the main issue with Breath of the Wild game is it's Nintendo only. It's an exclusive game. So PC players do not have a game. So you need to have a copy and the console to play it. So what MiHoYo with Genshin did was they made it multiplayer. They kept the MMORPG part, and next thing is it's cross-platform. Even if your friend is playing on mobile, console, or PC, you can still play together. So that's the main reason that Genshin has better popularity than Breath of the Wild. Better popularity and higher number of player base and active player counts. All. And next thing that's the reason you have value your idea. If you have a not no need to be unique, but something that solves the problem of an existing game that being enjoyed, it's still a good plus point. Get the requirements straight, just like I said in the first one, and goals and objectives separately. Understand what you're trying to get in the final output, and be meaningful about your work. And the bonus point of game development is now uh, technically you are no one can blame you. You're not studying when you're playing games because you are researching about it. Okay, don't take me seriously here. Keep your studies straight. So gaming is research. Now you have to learn from what you play. Okay, so no, just don't kill time when you're playing it. And have a Discord account because most major game development studios, game communities, and yeah, basically those two have Discord servers where you can easily communicate with people with interests and internationally. And a LinkedIn is good for game developers to showcase their projects, get traction, and have more reach. And finally, learn, work, and jam. Okay, where to learn? Now I try to speed things up. Again, තේරෙන දෙයක් කිව්වොත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් සිංහලෙන් හරි අහන්න කමක් නැහැ. මේවා සිංහලෙන් විතර උත්තර දෙන්නම්. කිසිම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. If you also have a question in English, just feel free to ask it that way. Where to learn? So I only know Unity and Unreal and Godot people defend your gaming engine. So so Unreal, you have the Epic Games community, which has Unreal documentation and mini courses you can attend. Nothing much. They give you the resources free. And Unity, I love Unity because they value your commitment so much. They have multiple pathways, essentials, junior developer to learn about coding and animation, and creative pathway, which gives you about UI and other visual elements, where VR pathway and mobile AR pathway. And every single time you finish the module, they award you a badge you can share in your social media. And every single time you finish a pathway, they will offer you a certificate. So you can have a certificate that you learn this. And if you are lucky, like me, if you're lucky enough, when you tag your certificate with Unity on LinkedIn, there's a good chance that they will like your post, and your post will receive a huge traction from all 100,000s of followers Unity have. Okay. So Godot, there are like YouTube tutorials like from Godot tutorial. That's the channel name. Or you can refer the Godot documentation. It's very descriptive. And yeah, unlike Unreal and for example Unity 2, it's good for any low-end PCs. It's easy to use. Potato PCs, good, really good. The 2D rather than 3D, though I use the 3D here. Yeah, yeah. Every image has their ups and downs, but and that comes to the next point that when you're choosing your game engine, focus on like create the what's the base requirements of your game. Again, when you understand your game needs these features, then you can sort into what game engine you want to implement these features. Maybe there is no fixed solution for all problems, so sometimes you have to like bet like maybe Unreal is better because it provides this feature, or maybe Unity is better for the same project because it provides these features rather than Unreal. So the weight of the removing feature might be a bit of a competition here. And finally, the topic of the trends. So, anyone has any ideas on AI and game development? Any ideas they like to share? Friendly reminder to drink some water, keep yourself hydrated. And all right, so in this AI hype train, it's like uh, what players, sorry, one of the players, the developers using the AI is Unity is recommended for beginners. It's self-structured. It's true, even though I use code. Yeah, ready play one. Okay. Yeah, I agree. Unity is Unity and Code also. Both are great for beginners. Unreal, on the other hand, is I'm not saying it's not beginner friendly, but it has a lot of features to build a production ready and feature rich game. The what like using the engine right. But Unity and Godot, I also use Unity, but with the help of Unity Pathway, I think it's really easy. Just like Cousin said, it's really easy to catch up with Unity's available features. Okay, back to AI in game. There is in 2025 game dev is it's not dead yet. It's like AI in game development is built for make the workflow efficient, and there are huge risks in you integrating AI stuff. Okay, so I will change the slide because this title has the most topic. So okay, let's see the chat. Okay, who anyone understand the left logo, bottom left logo in this slide? Dragon in a diamond shape. If you are okay, never mind. If you are active PC player, maybe. Okay, so the reason AI is new to game dev, it's no, the first AI paper is in the 90s. It was published in 90s, and there are multiple games, 2D and 3D games that have enemy systems, different enemy systems. Not sorry, not enemy system, AI system. So before GPT, there's I think it's called PGP, progressively generated, not P, progressively generated levels and content. So what they do is for like Mario, or it's like a progressively generating the levels, not just random. They are using a simple AI. And there is also another game which renders particles based off an AI. And in newer like boss-based games, almost enemies have small AI systems inbuilt to them to target the player in an in an interesting way. Not just like fixed set of attacks in a very predictable pattern, but the AI will make sure that it randomize how it attacks you, so that you can't predict what's the next attack, but you still knows when this attack is coming what to do. And one thing is The right hand side is that kind of an enemy system in Wuthering Waves, where the enemy changes attack patterns, that there is no linear or predictable sequence of patterns. On the left hand side is a GPT based game, Skyrim Elder Scroll. Don't think of that GPT when I say the word GPT. GPT means generative something text, I think. I'm not an AI expert. So in Skyrim, they are implement a small AI system that you can talk with the NPCs with your own idea. Instead of clicking a random button or a given button from the game, you can just type your message. So there is that video I saw where you're asking a female knight that you're complaining her that why did you sleep on the ground? So and she responded, "No, sir, I didn't sleep last night. I was on duty," or something like that. So I don't remember the exact dialogue, but that scenario happened, and it's a slide show. And you have to just type the text in a text box appear in the middle of the screen when you're speaking with an NPC. And so now you can see that these two are completely different AIs that is used in games. And finally, Muse. The reason Unity used the word Muse is that it's not a replacement, it's an add-on. The Muse is something along the lines of assisting the developer to get an inspiration, create something in order to get an inspiration. But Unity add-on, Muse add-on is pretty what do you call? It has lots of features such as inbuilt ChatGPT like system where you can give a prompt and get a code. But Muse encourages you that don't directly use it, but get an inspiration from it. Okay, and it also have image generation. And the thing with this image generation is you can select which part of the generated image to change. For example, if you generate a cottage or a cabin in the forest with cobblestone walls and wooden roof, it will generate a simple sample 2D asset, 2D only, not 3D, 2D generations. And then you can say that I don't like the roof, so make it a stone roof. Then it will only change the roof to be in this stone material. And Muse also offers live material changes, such as changing the floor to grassy floor or stone floor, like that, similarly. And yeah, but Muse is an add-on, and Unity is working with their legal teams and artistic teams so they don't get any legal conflicts. And it is not to replace existing developers, but it is there to make the workflows of existing developers much efficient. So you can, for example, if you want to add a 2D house into a game, you can quickly ask Muse and see which kind of assets would be much suitable for the color palette. And yeah, and also one new thing is that Mir 5. If you see in the video, it's an amazing game. Uh, it's a feature. MIR 5. This game is made from V made. V, it's a W made studio. And they use NVIDIA ACE. They use NVIDIA ACE technology to create a boss monster, which makes sure every single encounter with a team of players is unique because it keeps learning multiple attack movements from different uh, groups of players. So it will predict, like, check four different gameplays and predict this one is the best course of action to defend itself and finish the entire players, like lose the game. So the video demonstrate that then there's a shield and an attacker, a healer, and a mage. It will compare all four of them and targeting the only healer in the party, and attack and focus on attacking just the healer. And every single attack pattern is randomized with the AI's capabilities. So that's one terrifying boss enemy. Yeah. And the other thing is that with the AI hype train going on in game development, it's not coming soon for the replicating a developer or a designer, because right now there is no legal way to copyright a thing generated from image generation or 3D model generation software, because anyone can give the same prompt or different prompt and get the same output or similar outputs. But everybody owns that output, not even the 3D. The one owns the AI, owns the properties that are generated, and not even the creator of that, the one who the prompt engineer also not have the legal IP for that product, because anyone can make it. So there are legal issues, and also there are issues with training these models, because there are uh, tests or articles showcasing that prompt-based generated image are like above 80% similar to the exact real-world image. For the human faces, it sometimes even go to 90 to 95 and 99%. Those are the values that the articles mentioned. So yeah, and every output of the AI is depending on the quality of the data it is trained, and that also put a restriction. So we don't have an AGI or general intelligence like humans. So if the AI model is trained from low quality code, it will also generate low quality code. So that's the thing. So you can use the AI to get an inspiration on creating something, but using it in a production ready and uh, revenue generating game, it's uh, not that's not a good move, even for a publisher or a game studio. But still, you can vibe code again. And vibe debugging will take heck of a time. So that makes you even think I should have better learned about game development and created myself. So that's the current situation. And yes, there are games generators like from Google that generates a fixed playable game, but that's the only thing they show you. They show you for the prompt, this will generate this, but for a massive, large scale or a game with at least 24 hours play time, how do you think AI right now? Okay, I'm not talking about AI in the future. I'm talking about AI right now, which have the capability of consistently generating the same thing continuously and giving you the relevant output with no errors. Okay, no 3D or animation or code based errors. It's hard to come to a conclusion. So that's the thing. So that's why it's hard to hear that layoffs in game development. There are, but not mainly not because of the AI. But AI can be still used for like features such as information analysis and data analysis, etc. Because that part of gathering information and presenting it in a undigestible way will help the smaller companies or publishers or studios to analyze, to get the player patterns and understand strategies, and then compete with much larger scale studios or publishers on the same standing. Because you both have AI, you both have same set of resources, you have to find an efficient way to use your resources, and then you can compete with the help of AI. And finally, final. Oh my gosh, it's all 2 hours late. Uh, So, what is LevelStair? We are a game development based community, and we have a couple of partners with us that supports the community in multiple ways. And we do amazing set of work, such as we do social meetups, online or physical. And yeah, we are doing one in this 18th. Yes, it's middle of the game jam. And level 0 is a monthly game jam level study where you should uh, submit a web-based game, okay, browser playable game. And EXE is also game jam. It's targeting more on like creating a desktop playable game. It's coming soon. And we also share news such as regarding the extended reality applications and games. So we have multiple chats. General chat is for open discussion, looking for a job or asking a development based question, sharing your assets, anything. And extended realities chat is for talking about VR and AR related topics. And finally, the gamer chat is for gamers of all ages to communicate with other gamers, show your progress, show your achievements, etc. And we also do webinars like this. And from the start of this session, you keep hearing the word jam, 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 jam. It's not something edible for sure. So a game jam is a competition, an online competition, uh, currently not physical, at least the level ones. So you have the aim of this competition is however you participate, the final product is to publish a game. So not the publish, creating a game. Okay? Creating and building a game that is playable, enjoyable, and for the context of level 0, it should be browser playable. And yes, it starts in what's the time now? Okay, it starts at 12 midnight uh, tomorrow, which is in a couple of hours. So we will be releasing right on cue the game jam theme, where you have to make sure your game will will be going on with like adheres to the theme, follows the theme. ඔයගොල්ලෝ හදන ගේම් එක අපි දෙන ටොපික් එක යටතට වැටෙනවා නම් ඒක සබ්මිට් කරන්න. එතකොට අපි ඒක ප්ලේ කරලා and we will find what's the best game in this jam. So we have I think about 20 registrants to this game jam. You have 14 days. දවස් 14යි තියෙන්නේ. Yes, now the next thing is yes, I can see the question already. So we are still new, so how should we even participate? I mean, literally, yes. So every we are not looking for like a money generating game. We just need a game that we can enjoy or play. Okay, so the best thing why the game jam is 14 days long is the reason because you are allowed to learn while making the game for the game jam. Because we in LevelStair believes that best way to get into game development is by creating projects. Once you have projects to showcase for the interviewers that I have experience in creating a game like this for this game jam, and I placed this level compared to other games submitted, and I got these kind of comments. You can literally show them a product that you already made. So that's why we allow you to learn while creating the game for the game jam. So you can join solo or a member of three member team, and every single game that is submitted, the entire team will get certificates, and we will showcase your game by playing it and adding it to the compilation video. And for the winners, the friendly game dev will give you pre-consultation on game design and monetization. And the Discord jam people, there's a role called jam. So if you are in our Discord server, then you will get a jam winner badge under your username. So when someone views their profile, you can see him as a jam winner. We already have a few with us. And once you are having this specific badge or the role, you will be invited to a separate text channel or chat where you can talk with our partners and discuss about your game. So this is a very beginner friendly game jam. The theme is very easy to understand. So, and you have 14 days, literally 14 days. We considered the out season as well. And you got 14 days, create and submit. So I think it's 25th, 11:59 p.m. is the submission deadline. And after that, there's a 3-day period where you should share your game jam in any way you like and let people visit it and play it. And those that have each your accounts can rate on your game and provide a comment maybe. And highest rated one will win. We are selecting top three, and we appreciate every single submission. And here's level 0 pass submission from the level 02. Yes, I made that game with like 6 hours, and yeah, it's uses a simple code to like keep generating the assets, but with the random function to like choose the random ID of the asset. So yeah, so that's the reason that I got complaints, feedback saying it's a rage game because some people just almost break the space. Nice it's okay. At the end, final it's frequently asked questions. Okay, is it too late? No, you can start today or tomorrow. Just because the game then starts at midnight, you don't need to stay awake for entire time. Take your time. As you can see that how these games are made. It you don't need to keep it perfect, but just have some elements to make it enjoyable. And I think two or three of the submissions we have that those developers here as well. Uh, and is game dev the only path with this tech? Absolutely not. There are multiple paths. Like if you learn the same technology stack when you're creating a game, for example, if you learn Unreal, you can also use those skills to become an architect, where you model the people's dream home and show how they would feel walking inside the house, and how how the house appearance would look like. And you can also use Unity features to create VR games for Apple Vision Pro, Oculus, MetaQuest, anything. Or you can use the 3D modeling skills or rigging skill to create your digital avatar with motion capture suits or with the webcam also. Uh, if you are doing VTubing, and please do contact me if you're planning to do VTubing sessions. Uh, Next, if my team want to go independent, like since Sri Lanka doesn't have a publisher yet, what should we look out for? Balancing your finances, managing your time efficiently, and communication is a must, and proper planning. Those are the four ingredients that you also look out for. And if the team members are just randomly hired, or you are just acquaintances, like not friend but acquaintance, you just know each other better. But in that case, when you're like planning for a production ready revenue generating uh, game, it's better to have a written contract with each of you, so to just to avoid the conflicts in case your game hits and start earning money. Otherwise there will be conflicts like, I did this much work so I should, or like 60% of the money. So look out for the it's better to have a written contract with any team, even if they're best friends or not. uh, is always best. And the other thing is okay, I actually forgot what I was about to say. All right, actually, that's the end. If you have any questions, now's the best time to ask, because now it's now it's really, really, really over. Yes, yeah. You can follow us from LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Discord. Basically, I think we have all the social medias here. Uh, but we encourage you to stay in our Discord or WhatsApp group. And I should share the link here. Meanwhile, ask any questions in the chat. You can join our community here. The theme was not revealed yet. Yes, yes, it will be revealed in uh, 2 hours. Yes, within after 2 hours, it will release the game theme. This time it's pretty easy. Our first theme was floats, which we got submissions. It was like a life saving game, a bubble floating game, and a swan in the lake. And the second game jam theme is this one, platformer game. And third one is about uh, wait, okay, I can't remember the third one. Fourth one is about the key combinations of using both WASD keys and arrow keys. So you have to like Fireboy and Water Girl like games. So wait, I can't remember the game jam title. It's not a hard one either. Uh, yeah, our third one is WASD and IJKL. Uh, and the fourth one is Predator and Prey. Okay, I see there's no questions that questions. Okay, you can still reach me from my LinkedIn, and Yeah, you can connect with me using LinkedIn, and I will always active at least once per day there. Or if you join the WhatsApp chat, you can tag me and ask me anything. Yeah. So I think that's all for my part of the session. Batisha, I think you can end it now.
Thank you so much, Tarindu, for that insightful and inspiring session. We are sure everyone here has gained valuable knowledge and motivation to dive into their game development journeys. To all our participants, thank you for joining us tonight and showing interest in building the next wave of Sri Lankan gaming creators. Let's keep building, keep learning, and keep playing. Have a great night, and we hope to see your games soon. Thank you, and have a pleasant night.